Hello, I'm Graham Ravenscroft, co-founder and director here at Beyond the Podium and award-winning performance coach. As a fan of coaching and a lifelong learner of this great art, I wanted to share with you a couple of the tools that we as coaches use to help guide us through our work with the coachees. The first one is the tried and trusted and every basic coach's and experienced coach's go-to model, and that's the GROW model. Developed in the 1980s and stands for goal. So the starting point is, if we know what it is that we're working to, establish clarity over the goal, because that will help guide how we do things and make sure we do them in a purposeful way. The other thing we then have to do, when we establish the goal and where we want to be, we need to look at the now. So that's the R for reality. What is the reality that we exist in at the moment? So we should now have a gap. Then we look at the O, and that's the options. What are the ways that we can move from A to B? The other thing that we'll have along the way, of course, is obstacles. Let's not wait till we run into an obstacle. Let's actually try and identify them as we go along, so that we can put things in place to avoid them or make the impact of them minimal as we move past them. And of course, the W stands for the will. It's right, you've heard the phrase, where there's a will, there's a way. Do the person that you're working with actually have the motivation to deliver this success? The other thing, if I was writing it now, I would put when. And the reason I would do that is because we need to be able to measure how we're doing things and our success. And I don't think that should be never ending. I think we should commit to a time. It's not a stick to beat ourselves with if we don't make it, but it does keep us on track. So now we've looked at coaching individuals. What about a team? How does that change? I would always recommend to coaches to consider the ACHIEVE model. Okay, so what does ACHIEVE stand for? The A means to assess the current situation, establish why the team's here and what's its purpose. The second one is, with the team all together, to do some creative brainstorming. That's to involve everybody, engage the whole team. When we've had that brainstorming, we then need to hone the team's goals. Out of the information that we've got to go in, we've got to establish the absolute goals that we're going to work towards. Then, of course, we need to initiate the option generation. So how are we going to think about options to move from A to B? When we've started to get all those options in and some of the ideas from the team, we need to evaluate these options, because we're not just going to follow any, we want to get the best possible one. And remember, we're involving the team at the whole time. When we decide on those options, we're then going to create a valid, that's the V, action plan. This is what we're going to do to move from A to B. And then it's your job, of course, as the coach or the manager, whatever the role using this tool, is to E, encourage momentum. We need to get people moving and we need to keep them moving. That's the ACHIEVE coaching model for teams. And the third model I'd like to share with you very excitedly, of course, is my very own FIREPROOF model. FIREPROOF was developed by me from 35 years of coaching experience. That coaching including delivering people to medals at every major championships, including Olympics, Paralympics and World Championships in athletics. It's also from leading teams of people to life-critical major incidents over 30 years in the operational fire service. After 15 years of working with business leaders on a regular basis to develop their people and performance, I took all that experience and thought about providing people with a coaching framework that will help you strategically take on any challenge and solve any problem. So here goes. This is my FIREPROOF framework. The F stands for frame the situation. This is about having a discussion to say, what is the reality of now? Where are we? Do we know where we want to go? And all these questions. When we've done that, we need to look at the I, and that's to identify any potential hazards. They're the things that might cause us harm. And when we think about hazards, by the way, we should think about physiological, economic, emotional, mental, all of this stuff. But that's if we stay where we are and do nothing. What if we choose to take on this journey? So we need to identify the hazards. With any hazard, of course, we need to risk assess them. That means, what's the reality and the likelihood of these actually causing us harm. When we've got our situation framed and we've looked at our potential hazards and risk assessed them, we need to then evaluate our options. What's open to us right now to take us on this journey? Then, of course, we need to proof this whole situation. That means to consider the people that we need to help deliver success. What do those people look like? What are their skills? What are their experiences? What's their expertise? What are their behaviours? Those kind of questions. And of course, people will probably need resources. That's policies, procedures, equipment, tools, time. So we need to do that. When we have all this and we've considered it all, nobody stumbles across greatness. So we need to organise them. That's the first O, into a strategic plan of action. What are we going to do? When are we going to do it? When are we going to measure it, etc.? Which is the second O, because we don't just run with something and then let it happen. We need to observe the implementation of this action plan. And we need to watch carefully at what's working, what's not working. And then, of course, the F, we should take that information and we should feed it back through the system and all those involved to identify what's working well and make sure we celebrate the success, or consider the changes that we need to keep us on track. So I hope you found this really, really interesting. So why not take one? Have a go, give it a try at your place of work and with your people. And if you want more information, of course, don't hesitate to get in touch, because I would love to talk to you about coaching and talk more about these tools and teach you or help you to practically apply them to get great success in your place of work.